460. It has been 460 days since Grim Grinning Ghosts has rung out throughout the graveyard at Disneyland. 460 days since the regular Haunted Mansion has been in its rightful place at the center of New Orleans Square. And you know what? I'm feeling every single day of it. All 460 of those days have been extremely painful for me. I did get to experience Haunted Mansion Holiday when I visited for the D23 Expo. That's the last time I was in Anaheim, and it was lovely. I love Haunted Mansion Holiday. The gingerbread house this year, it's wonderful. That said, however, in January of this year, we are now halfway through November, I made a video called The Year Without a Mansion, talking about how we wouldn't experience the regular opening day-ish 1969 Haunted Mansion-ish until 2025. And that is true. That has proven to be true. This has been the year without the mansion. Haunted Mansion Holiday is lovely. I love Haunted Mansion Holiday. But this is sad. However, my friends, as construction progresses and the queue opens up more and more, and we see what Disney has planned for this brand new extended outdoor queue for the Haunted Mansion, the more excited I get. The more enthusiastic I become for next year when the Haunted Mansion reopens its gates, and we will finally be able to see what Disney has been cooking up these past couple of years. But it's not just a new accessible elevator and extended queue that Disney is building at the Haunted Mansion, no. Allegedly, we are getting some changes to some scenes that I am very excited to see transform once the original version of the Haunted Mansion reopens. Hopefully in January. It could be like May though, let's be honest. That queue is coming along though. And for today's video, which I guess spooky season is just extending through February nowadays. I did the Haunted Mansion video for Halloween, I did the Backrooms last week, I'm doing the Haunted Mansion this week. I wanted to walk us through a timeline of what the Haunted Mansion has been through the past year. From the closure, to the sort of semi-reopening, to the queue construction, to the return of some familiar friendly faces, or messages, mausoleums. That's not a play on words, I'm not good at that. So join me as we make our way out of the sad year without a mansion and look toward the horizon, toward the future, when the Haunted Mansion will make its glorious return with some new, added, extra fun. Now this all begins on August 14th, 2023, the aforementioned 460 days ago if you're watching this on the day I uploaded this video. If you're not, obviously it's gonna increase. It's based on the days. That is the day when the regular Haunted Mansion closed down for its seasonal transition into the Haunted Mansion Holiday for the 2023 holiday season. That is the famous Von Ginger gingerbread house that you can see here. I still haven't really figured out who Von Ginger is. He's this guy though. This was the 2023 gingerbread house, and this was the last time when the old extended queue would be open for guests to experience, because in January, instead of reopening the old Haunted Mansion like they normally do after Holiday had served its purpose for the holiday crowds, Disney kept the holiday overlay open just a little bit longer than they normally do until January 22nd before closing the attraction down entirely, not to reopen later on in February as the Haunted Mansion. Instead, this was to begin at this point, year-long effort to completely redo the exterior queue of the mansion. Not the exterior facade, just the queue portion. And as of today, as of me recording this, the front is done. Now this new queue, instead of just being boring metal switchbacks over and over and over again until you get onto the porch of the mansion, it will instead take you through gardens, through statuaries, through a little greenhouse, exploring the grounds of the mansion, building up a sort of story before you even set foot inside of the attraction. And that, as you all know, I'm hoping, is my favorite part of the mansion, the atmospheric storytelling, how there are characters being introduced to you, settings being shown to you, all without a single word of spoken dialogue. I love that about the mansion and about pirates and about other attractions too, like Soarin'. Except Patrick does have a name. Nice work, pal. Now, as I mentioned in my video back in January, I am really sad that we didn't get the regular mansion this entire year. However, I am happy that they are redoing the exterior queue. It really needs it, and it looks fantastic. Based off of this concept art, I think this is nothing but an improvement. It looks amazing, and I'm so glad they're giving the queue the facelift that it desperately needed. The mansion will also be receiving a gift shop near the exit based off of the character of Madame Leota. And as you can see from this recent picture, construction is carrying on at a very brisk pace. Now, my good friend Disney Dan says that this gift shop reminds him of Arendelle, of the movie Frozen, and not of the Haunted Mansion. However, I beg to differ, my friends. I think it's going to act as the perfect sort of transition from the French Quarter New Orleans Square to Bayou Country out at the outskirts. It's going to be still refined and inspired by the city of New Orleans, much like the rest of New Orleans Square over by Pirates and the Blue Bayou and Cafe Orleans and that sort of area, while also having aspects of that Romani, Madame Leota fortune teller aesthetic, sort of transitioning us into the bayou. It's definitely more on the edge of the city before you enter the wilderness. I think after seeing this building in person and even lit up at night, I'm so excited for that it's all just gonna sort of click. And I'm not saying that it doesn't click for me now. I know what they're going for with this, and I think it looks fantastic. However, for some people, it's just not quite mansion-y enough, and I understand that. So of course, before any good construction project begins, you must completely, absolutely demolish everything that was there before, and boy, did Disney do that. They ripped up that thing. They tore up the back of the Haunted Mansion till it was just dirt and rubble, twisted metal and remnants of what was, and let me tell you, it's kind of intense to see. We were all nervous when we saw it, including me, but my friends, I am here to report that you do not need to be nervous, because the parts of the queue that we loved that were there before will still be there, including the mausoleums. Now, when they first started destroying the exterior queue for the Haunted Mansion, they had these mausoleums marked as destroyed. They got rid of them completely, smashed them down to rubble, reduced to atoms. And I and a lot of other people were sort of angry at Disney for destroying these fun little mausoleums. They had names on them that were jokes. It was the inside of the mansion brought to the outside. It was a joke that was sort of macabre, you know? And it looked like even the Walt Disney Archives weren't interested in saving them. However, the mausoleums are, well, they're not fine. They actually were destroyed, but they have been rebuilt. They're not gone. They're just brand new. This photo taken by Big Mike's Adventures show the mausoleums back and better than ever. And if you even zoom in, you can see that the lettering is already on the front. They just have to paint and finalize the look of these mausoleums, and they will be returned to their rightful place in the queue for Disneyland's mansion. So if you, like me, were worried about the Haunted Mansion mausoleums just going away forever and Disney completely forgetting about the history of the attraction, my friends, we can all rest easy now. Now, for the next couple of segments, I'm going to defer to my good friend David over at Fresh Baked Disney. He goes into the park, I believe, every single week to document all of the construction going on. And boy, howdy, has there been a lot of construction recently. So the footage that you see on your screen is David's from Fresh Baked. I'm going to link his channel and the video and all of that in this video and also in the description down below, so you can go check it out, because he does a wonderful job at construction updates, more in depth than I could ever hope to achieve on this channel, because, well, for one, I don't live in California, so it makes it a little harder to do weekly construction updates for me. Now, as you can see in David's video, there is a giant mausoleum. I'm not talking just like the graves that are in the wall like we formerly had. It's a giant neoclassical mausoleum that is designed, I'm told, to hide an ADA elevator for guests who may need special assistance getting onto the attraction, and that's always better, okay? I love streamlining the process, making it easier for everyone. Everybody deserves to like the Haunted Mansion. Everybody deserves to ride the Haunted Mansion and bask in the glory of the Mummy. However, when we look at the concept art that Disney released for the new Haunted Mansion queue, that giant crypt is, for some reason, absent. They left it off. Now, the greenhouse, that is in front of the crypt that is meant to disguise the elevator. The elevator is seen nowhere in this concept art, and that has me... Is this weird? It has me even more excited, because we don't really know what the look, what the vibe is going to be for this building until the attraction opens, or at least, you know, a week or two before opening when they're finalizing everything. And that's awesome. And the fact that they're disguising this very utilitarian piece of the queue as a part of the mansion, as a crypt, as somewhere where someone is buried, that it just shows that Disney is going the extra mile for this ride, and I love that. It could have absolutely been just like an elevator in the Indiana Jones queue, or the elevator in the Flight of Passage queue. They're not really disguised. They're elevators, obviously, and they sort of fit within the story of the attraction, but you're trying to tell me that they built a working elevator in the depths of the Temple of Mara? What are we doing here? I mean, the elevator doesn't take me out by any means. It's just, you know, an elevator. But here, it's a spooky crypt. The people who go into this spooky crypt never seem to come out. That's so Haunted Mansion, and I am so glad Disney is doing this. And would you look at that, as I'm recording this video, it is currently Tuesday as I'm speaking to you right now, the walls around the Haunted Mansion gift shop are down. The colors, the vibe, it all matches the mansion perfectly. It's also, like I said, a really good visual transition between Tiana's and the mansion. It's sort of half and half. It's got the corrupted elegance of the mansion combined with the sort of soft, muted greens of Tiana's dress and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It just looks amazing. And hopefully, as the day goes on and the sun gets lower, we get some show lighting on this building. I will report back to you in a couple of seconds if you're watching this, but a little bit later on in the day for me, just to let you know how it looks. Well, would you look at that? It is now Thursday, and we do have nighttime photos of this gift shop. It looks very similar to the mansion itself. It's not exactly spooky on the outside, but neither is the mansion. Hopefully, when this opens to guests, the ghosts, as Walt said, will take care of the inside. That remains to be seen, though, but I am satisfied with the outside. It very much blends in to where it is. Bravo, Disney. However, I could see this lighting package evolve as the store gets closer and closer to opening. I would always welcome more dynamic stuff. Walls have also come down around the New Orleans Square train station. All of it's opened up and it looks fantastic. And I think it's really just nice to finally see New Orleans Square open back up again after all those months of construction, alongside the official opening of Tiana's Bayou Adventure earlier this week. All of New Orleans Square and Bayou Country, it's all starting to come together. As we can see by these photos taken by Critter Club HQ over on Twitter, I think we may be seeing portions of this queue open a bit earlier than we were expecting. Before the January or February reopening of the regular Haunted Mansion, we may see it within the next couple of weeks. This is looking very close to finished, but you never know. There are some things that we can't see that might still be under construction, like that accessibility elevator. Overall, for the exterior side of this video, I see this as a net positive for the Haunted Mansion. The gift shop, New Orleans Square, and the new queue, it's all looking really, really cool. But now I want to journey into the depths of the Haunted Mansion, into the stretching room, through the changing portrait hallway, and into a doom buggy to talk about changes that might be coming to the inside. Now, as we previously discussed on this channel, there may be some changes coming to a couple of scenes in the Haunted Mansion. I'm not going to talk about them for 10 minutes and just drone on and on. We might be getting a new bride in the attic, and we might be getting video screens for the hitchhiking ghosts at the very, very end of the attraction. We'll still have the 3 animatronic hitchhiking ghosts in front of us as we leave the graveyard, but when they are hitchhiking with us in our doom buggy, instead of being the physical, practical figures that they are now at Disneyland, it will be a video screen, very similar to Walt Disney World. And I say very similar because in my previous video where I talked about this change potentially coming to the mansion, I was very, very vehemently against this change. The screens in the Walt Disney World version of the mansion do not look good at all. They're very, very bright. They sort of glow. You can see that it's a screen. They're blurry, and you can almost sort of see the pixelation. It's like a 480p video. It really does not convey the effect well. It really just doesn't work. And I thought with this being implemented at Disneyland, it would be awful. It'd be the same thing, and I would just be really, really sad that they changed something that didn't have to be changed just for the sake of change. But, my friends, when I went on the Haunted Mansion, and when probably many of you had gone on the Haunted Mansion holiday recently, you may have noticed that the lock, shock, and barrel present scene, which replaced the hitchhiking ghost scene at the end of the attraction, is using a screen. You can tell because the presents fade in when you first approach the scene, and as you leave, they fade out. They're very, very crisp, and they're very stable. They don't sort of jerk around like they used to. And I'm honestly, friends, I'm about to say something crazy. If the new hitchhiking ghost effect uses the same screens, the same technology that the new Haunted Mansion holiday screens are using currently, I am kind of okay with it. It even took me a second as I was on the attraction to register like, oh no, this is different. This is a screen. The effect is so much better than what is present currently over in Orlando. And if they use this same technology for the hitchhiking ghosts, I think it's going to be fine. I do, yes, however, lament the loss of another practical effect with the figures on the rotating belt and the mirrors. I think that was really, really cool. But if they wanted to replace it with a screen, I think this is the best possible outcome. Now, the screens at the end of Haunted Mansion Holiday just sort of recreate the presents that were there before. I am curious, however, if they will be using the same source video from the Orlando mansion, or if it's going to be something completely new. If it's going to be the hitchhiking ghosts interacting with guests as they move through the scene, or if it will just be a digital version of what we had previously with these pivoting figures riding along with us. I really don't know what it's going to look like. If I were to bet though, I would say the first one, it's going to be very similar, if not the same, as the Magic Kingdom's video, but Haunted Mansion Holiday has soothed my worries about it looking bad. I don't think it looks bad. In fact, I think it looks really, really good. I think it looks darn great. Has anybody ever said darn great before? Okay, now moving on to the bride, or I guess moving backwards because she's earlier in the ride. Huh? Sorry, everybody, what's this? Oh my gosh, would you look at that? They dropped an update. I can't believe it. They did it while I was making this video. Thank you, Disney. I really appreciate that. Recently, we received some news on the social medias that the hitchhiking ghost scene at the end of the Magic Kingdom has been updated. However, I can confirm that this is just sort of a functioning B mode for the screens at the end of the mansion. This isn't something new. I've actually seen it before. It's just very rare that this B mode does operate. It's like a shiny Pokemon or winning the lottery. So count yourself lucky if you've seen this B mode. However, I think it looks so much better, and this should just be the A mode version of the effect. I think it's when the motion tracking isn't working for when the hitchhiking ghosts mess with the guests, so they'll just do this instead. However, I do think this bears mentioning because I think that the Disneyland version of the effect will be very similar to the Magic Kingdom B mode, and hopefully they make the Magic Kingdom B mode the Magic Kingdom A mode, because the A mode, it's just not very good at all. So this is what it might look like. Now, and don't worry for the last time, as we discussed in my The Mansion is Changing video from June of this year, the scene that used to house a picture of Jack and Zero where Constance Hatchaway normally would be located during the regular Haunted Mansion has changed this year to two Jack in the Boxes, one with Jack Skellington doing a scary face and the other with a jack-o'-lantern, and behind it you can see a very thick black curtain hiding something we're not supposed to see. Now, when it comes to the bride, I don't have any updates, unfortunately. Unlike the hitchhiking ghosts at the end or the queue outside, we don't know anything new about a new bride for the Haunted Mansion. D23 Brazil was this previous week. We didn't get anything regarding the Haunted Mansion there. I didn't expect to, but it would have been nice to get a little, piece of concept art for the bride. Nothing, however, was announced. So I don't think we're going to be getting an announcement until either 1, the day the mansion opens back up, or 2, a few weeks before when they do a giant press release about the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, and as part of the 70th anniversary, the original bride from the 1969 Haunted Mansion will be making her grand return with a new and updated audio animatronic. One of those two things is gonna happen. Mark my words here. I am leaning more to them tying it into the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, so when we see the mansion opened back up, I think we are for sure going to be getting a new Constance or a new Black Widow bride. And it will be finally then, at that point, when the year without a mansion will finally end, and you can bet that I will be there to experience the corrupted elegance of the original Haunted Mansion, and I'm just so excited for the park to be open again. Tiana's Bayou Adventure will be open, Bayou Country will be open, the original Haunted Mansion will be back, Lightning Lane will be gone from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Treehouse will be open, Disneyland will be, at long last, complete, open, and operating, and that is going to be absolutely wonderful. I mean, everything but the Walt Disney and Abraham Lincoln show on Main Street, we haven't gotten an opening day for that yet, but if I were a betting man, July of 2025. So maybe not all of Disneyland, but 99.5% of Disneyland will be open. But now I've shared with you everything I know and everything my friends over in Anaheim have managed to gather. What do you think of this new queue for the Haunted Mansion? What do you think about replacing the hitchhiking ghosts with screens? And what do you think about the potential of getting a new bride? Are you just happy to see everything open like I am? Also, do you think the new gift shop looks a little Home Depot-y, or do you think they're still working on it, or do you like it the way that it is? Let me know down in the comments below. And it is with that, my friends, that I must bid you adieu, and it won't be until the Haunted Mansion finally reopens when I will see you all next, or same place next week, right here on the Offhand Disney Channel. Either of those things could be possible. Just know that whenever hinges creak in doorless chambers and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls, I will be there to cover every bit of news, rumor, speculation, history, and maybe even urban legend that pops up. You can count on me being there, and I hope to find you there with me. The two of us, the 1000th and the 1001st Happy Haunts in the Haunted Mansion. Dibs on 1000, by the way. 1001st doesn't really have the same ring to it. Hey there everybody, welcome to this video's end card. Now, before I talk about Patreon, before I talk about social media or subscribing, I want you to take a look at that view counter down there. Doesn't that seem a little higher than usual to you? That's because if you head over to the website Blue Sky, the social media Blue Sky, and follow me at Offhand Disney over there, they are getting early access to videos, not before Patreon members. Patreon still gets that first, but before the general YouTube public gets access. I just like it a whole lot better than X, formerly Twitter. So if you want to follow me over at Blue Sky and get early access to the next couple of videos I'm going to be posting here on the channel, please do that. I would highly appreciate it. But now back to the end card. Thank you all for watching this video, sort of a construction update for the Disneyland Haunted Mansion, because all of the walls are coming down and it's about time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new around here and you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And a big thank you, of course, as always, as I mentioned before, to my Patreon supporters. Even just $1 a month gets them early access to videos and exclusive access to certain videos. I'm actually going to be filming a Patreon exclusive video here in a couple weeks when I head over to Disneyland for the holidays. I'm so excited. However, if you'd rather just follow me for free without paying anything, I am on Blue Sky. I'm sunsetting my Twitter account, so you don't have to follow me over there, but Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at Offhand Disney. I am active on all of those websites. A real quick note at the end of this video, I prefer physical props and sets and animatronics. So I am gonna say I do prefer the physical Hitchhiking ghost figures that we have at the end of the Haunted Mansion. However, if we have to get screens, and Disney is very insistent in putting screens in at the end of the mansion, what we're getting doesn't look too bad, okay? It's not as good, obviously, it'll never be as good, but it's so much better than what we did have at the Magic Kingdom. I'm okay with it. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.